Who would do that in an environment that's supposed to be trusted? Would reveal not only video, but still images. Is that the bigger indictment?
Of things, Bart. Yeah, a couple of things, Bart. Number one, I think, there's a part of me I look at it two ways. I'm like, did Kyrie know that somebody probably took a picture of him? I mean, does he care? Right? I don't know the reasoning. I can assume why Kyrie hasn't played because of things that potentially have happened in our country, and he feels strongly about that if that is the case. So that's one aspect. Maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe it is, a lot of this for Kyrie is maybe him say, this is what I'm standing for. These are the principles I live my life, and this is what I want to do. So it is what it is. And then there's another part of me that looks at it and I'm like, this also continues to propel the issue, though, right? Like, that's why there's a trust issue with people. That's why there's a trust issue with the media. All these narratives start spinning away, and there's a ton of speculation. And look, is a part of that Kyrie's fault? Sure, because he's not the one properly articulating what the reason of him stepping away has been. But it kind of feeds into it. So I got to be honest with you, I'm disoriented with this whole thing. I have no idea. I feel so bad for Steve Nash when Steve Nash has to make comments and says, hey, look, there's an unknown timeline on when Kyrie Irving is going to come back and play. Think about the position that puts him and that puts teammates in each and every day when they're being asked about Kyrie Irving, when the attention isn't focused on, is this team getting better or not? It just becomes, it's not a distraction. It just becomes, why is there even a need for that currently happening if you're not saying, this is the reason for me not being here because I want to stand up for this. Now it's speculation, and that's problematic.
Right. So as the CEO or leader of this team, isn't he obligated to come out and say why he's not there? I mean, at what point do we put the onus on him, and when do the organization hold him accountable?
I mean, you have to hold him accountable. I mean, nobody can speak for Kyrie Irving but Kyrie Irving. And I think when you go through something like this, I would love to know if there is a principle in which Kyrie Irving is deciding to stay out for, because if it is, let's bring attention towards it. I think by not saying anything, it becomes, it's going to sound crazy, man. If the unselfish thing is to say, hey, this is why I'm not playing because I want to bring attention towards this, then you do that. You say what you're bringing attention towards. But it almost seems like it's the reverse. It seems like because he's not coming out and saying this is why I'm not playing, all the attention then goes on Kyrie, which is not what Kyrie wants in the first place. So I got to be honest with you, man, I got no idea what the hell is going on. Like, I am flabbergasted countless times. And this is somebody, this is my favorite player in the league. This is somebody that is like a little, I mean, he's not a brother to me because we're not even close like that, but one Jersey PG from Duke to another, and I find myself constantly in this world where I'm trying to find reason with it, right? Find understanding to why Kyrie does what he does. And I can't on this one, man. I can't.
I hear the exasperation in your voice, and I was going to mention the Duke connection, obviously, and for those joining us, Jay Will on with us. Malika Andrews and Adrian Wojnarowski both reporting that the league is expected to review videos that we're talking about here that are circulating on social media of a maskless Kyrie Irving in what appears to be a family birthday party. He has missed several games. It's not expected he's going to return this week, and that includes tomorrow night on ESPN at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks, which people circled that game right away. Not expected to play in that game. He's going to miss his fourth straight game tonight as the Nets are playing Denver. You mentioned it. Is it about social issues? Is it about him just being defiant and saying, I'm going to just live my life the way I want, and if I don't feel like playing right now, I'm not going to? The responsibility that people put on him is more about the size of the contract and the importance to your team than it is that we're trying to force him to be a certain way as a person. Because I'm always told, well, he's different and you have to accept that he's different. But I'm sorry, you're also put on a certain stage and you're accepting that stage. When you sign a contract, part of that contract tells you you have to talk to the media, which he first tried to not do. Other part of it is that you have to show up for your team. He's not doing that right now. And then on top of it, during a major COVID issue for the league, he's out and about seen this way. It's all such a bad optic. And I agree with you, Jay. He does need to come out and say something, if not to the fans, to the league and his own team, and obviously his head coach.
I mean, if you're Joe Tsai right now, if you're Sean Marks, hopefully you know what's going on. That's problematic within itself. You know what I mean, Alan? I just said hopefully you know what's going on. The fact that, like, think about that for a second. The guy who is Kevin Durant is probably one of the most talented players there is in the league, right? Kevin has his personality in which Kevin's a leader, but, like, Kevin doesn't get involved in a lot of stuff. Kevin loves to hoop. Kyrie is like that demonstrative voice on this team. If that naturally propels you to be in a leadership position, hopefully you verbalize that to everybody on your team, but if you verbalize that to everybody on your team, I don't know why teammates wouldn't just have his back and come out and say where it is, or Steve Nash would just say where it is. The fact that nobody knows where it is or nobody's willing to say where it is, it really makes you wonder about what style of leadership is Kyrie doing. I don't think that works, and that's problematic, Alan. That's a major problem.
And let's also mention the fact that the Nets have a losing record right now. They also aren't winning games, and they were expected to do a whole lot.
We're talking about the Knicks more than we're talking about the Nets with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.